Just wanted to show off a little bit of my collection here in the UK. So here we've got the large Jack pumpkin head maquette that was used in a couple of scenes, I believe. He's absolutely gorgeous. The detailing on him is amazing. Then we've got the shiny TikTok backplate from the end of the film with all of his instructions on it. We've got the key that Bellina found in Kansas that led Dorothy on her next adventure. And then we've got a lunch pail. It's quite delicate because it's foam latex, the top part of it. But this would have been one of the ones that was hanging on the tree. Here we've got, I'm going to try and zoom in. This is the miniature Jack Pumpkinhead maquette from when the Gnome King was about to eat Jack. So we've got Jack here once he's removed his top of his head. You can't see in the camera, but there is a really tiny little Bellina in his eyes. But he's beautiful. He's lost a lot of his clothes, obviously. He's still got his scarf attached to him, but he's incredibly delicate. And there was another head there with ever so slightly different expression that was used. So the head's interchangeable, but I've never tried to swap it over. It's a bit too risky, I think, considering how old he now is. Then up here I've got the clapperboard from when it was purely just called Oz as the title, before they'd even thought of what the name would be. I love that. That was actually the first piece in my collection. And then my most favourite piece of all is Dorothy's costume from the final scenes when she's back in Kansas. And Uncle Henry's wanting her to come play outside, and I absolutely love this. And one of my favourite scenes is of her in front of the mirror doing the Ozies inboard to call Ozma and to check in on her and Bellina. I absolutely love it, and I was very, very, very lucky that one of my awesome, or should I say awesome friends put me in touch with Veruza's mother. So very, very, very lucky to have this in my collection. Also forgot the miniature Gale farm. This is obviously after the tornado struck. Uncle Henry at the door there.
Hey guys, Jane Albright behind the camera. I am going to share a few vintage Halloween costumes that were made for kids. Most of mine are Collegeville, Ben Cooper, Halco. And you can find a chapter about them in the Wizard of Oz Collector's Treasury. The Tin Man over here, this is the same costume made by Ben Cooper, different years. You'll notice on this one that doesn't really call an attention to anything special about it. Here we've got the Tin Man on the cover on the left, and it described itself as a Tudor mask. Up here, which is also actually a Tudor, but it just calls itself a deluxe. What makes it a Tudor mask is that little white whistle in the Tin Man's mouth that the child, when he has the mask on, can blow through it and make a little toot. This dandelion costume is one of my rarest. It is from the Tales of the Wizard of Oz cartoon. I do have the box for this one, but I don't have the box for the wizard behind it. It says Wizard of Oz on there in glitter, hard to make out, and that is Dandelion's face, also in glitter, to go with this mask. A lot of these masks get really brittle and the edges get quite broken up, which is the case in my wizard mask. He's in pretty sad shape, and you can kind of see his face on the costume next to him. And in this particular one, the costume has some damage right where the Wizard of Oz lettering is. But I'm just delighted to have those two because they're pretty hard to come by. Then back here we have the lion from The Wiz. They did a lion and they did Diana Ross's Dorothy. They did not have a Michael Jackson as the Scarecrow. I'm pretty sure there was a Tin Man too. Michael's licensing made that a little too complicated from what I understand. And then over here I have a couple kind of traditional MGM styled costumes, which aren't too hard to come by. They're still pretty easy to find. Over here, well, first let me show you this box. Not this one, that's pretty generic. This is the one that the Tales of the Wizard costumes came in. Mine says Dandelion on the end of it. I'm not sure that this box is original, that costume, because Halco did them and it says Ben Cooper. Then the Flick and Trick light up masks. This is a costume that was just a normal costume, and then they did this light up mask thing to it. And for this, there's a little battery pack and a tiny little light bulb that goes in a spot between the character's eyes. I'm not sure how many characters were made. It might have just been the Scarecrow. I should check the treasury. Then I also was going to tell y'all, if you get these rubber masks, learn how to take care of them, because I didn't. And as a result, my Tin Man is completely petrified. He's a Don Post costume from back in the 80s. I think my Cowardly Lion's a little more recent than that, but still, I failed to take care of them, and they're in pretty bad shape. I just kind of hate to see these fall apart. And if you know how to take care of them well, let me know, because I'd like to improve on what I've got so far. Anyway, those were the only ones I was going to show you today. They're kind of a fun little collectible. And again, you can find in the collector's treasury, I think I bookmarked the page. Costumes and Masks is a section, about 130, if I remember correctly. Oh no, I've got my page numbers way off. Hang on. Page 8990 starts the Halloween costume section. Anyway, happy Halloween, everyone.
Hello, everyone. My name is Freddy Fogarty. I am here today to talk to you about some various Oz book bindings, but specifically in the Halloween spirit, I'm going to be talking to you about a very specific set of orange and black bindings. We've talked about it before on Oz Collectors United on Facebook and me with some other collectors. I am now up to around, oh, look at those, 7 different versions. So as you can see, nice black binding, some in better shape than others, and then just beautiful orange lettering right on it. Really stands right out. So I have 7. I do know that there's at least an 8th, Jack Pumpkinhead, the perfect one to have actually for the coloring, because he's got that big orange pumpkin head on it. I do not have that one. Someday. These, I believe, are all 1940s, 50s reprints. I'm gleaming that from other people's information in the past. They all are pictorial label. Got that going on for them, as you can see. Yes, it's not too often that you see, as you can see from books, you know, pretty much all the books have the same, you know, black imprint, various colored labels. Every once in a while, you know, something throws out. You got some silver there, but that's for a first edition. And there is some silver prints on some other ones also. I'm going to go over, those are some dust jackets, if you like some variants going on over there. I'm going to go over to this side of the room. So here we go. These are, you can see a little better outside of the case. So you can see it's just black, 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 black. Of course, with some awesome various color bindings. Excuse this. So yes, the Halloween bindings of Oz. Maybe the next set will be the Christmas bindings, if anyone can find those. I'm stealing that joke from David Maxine. But yes, I thought you'd like that. For similar options, we've got these ones here, and as you can see, both of these pirates have printed with this beautiful white on them. I know it stands out a little differently. I'd love to get more of them, although this is just like a lucky find. People don't usually post, you know, white binding, you know, in eBay searches, which would be helpful for me. Once again, color pictorial. This one doesn't, though. So, you know, you never really know. Alrighty. Since it's Halloween themed, I am going to go to my favorite Halloween Wizard of Oz collectibles, and that is these beautiful candy buckets. Excuse Jack's Princess Crown, that's an add-on. These were centerpiece floral displays from the 2015 OzCon International that I chaired, co-chaired, whatever the proper term may be, and they were handmade by a certain person named Dave. 2 of each were made, and they were silent auctioned off at the end. I'm so happy to have gotten a complete set. Glitter eyes, the egg, the eye. That, of course, is the perfect for Halloween. And they're modeled after like the old school Halloween paper mache buckets from back in the day. Maybe not the gum so much. She's more of a perfect figural statue. But yes, here's a little lunch pail bucket that was given out back in the day. Also, very rare Return to Oz piece. And yes, well, there's my brief but fun visit to Halloween in the Land of Oz at Freddy Fogarty's house. Great.
W. W. Denslow is best known for his work on The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, but his other work is rich in what are called eerie archetypes. An archetype is a recurrent symbol or motif in literature, art, or mythology. One of Dent's most frequent archetypes was the skull, as seen in these melancholic works that he sold as prints. We'll get back to skulls later, but in honor of Halloween, I'll talk first about some of his somewhat happier archetypes, including the witch, pumpkins, and black cats. Denslow's witch in The Wonderful Wizard of Oz was part creepy, part comic, and part pirate, as can be seen in these clips. Fortunately, Dorothy got her in the end. Denslow wanted to believe in the triumph of good versus evil as in The Wizard of Oz, and his work featuring pumpkins was mostly happy. All ends well in his 1904 book, The Pearl and the Pumpkin, which featured a girl, Pearl, and her cousin, Jo, who turned into a strange pumpkin creature, and then back again. Denslow's peculiar ensuing stage play, however, was not a hit with audiences. Denslow also has Peter Pumpkin Eater's wife knitting happily after being put into a pumpkin shell in his popular Mother Goose book. Well, he never did really understand women. Denslow and Baum had used the jack-o'-lantern or pumpkin head earlier in Father Goose, his book, which was a best-selling children's book of 1899. On one page were a bow-tied black cat and his girlfriend, who also rides with the Wicked Witch on her broom on another page. This bow-tied cat shows up so frequently in Denslow's work that I've named him Midnight. Denslow was using the black cat even earlier than Father Goose. Midnight features in advertising for the Chicago Chronicle newspaper, for printer ink, for the Bill Poster Journal, and even in an anti-rats cartoon in the Inland Printer. Midnight lived on in the last Baum-Denslow book collaboration, Dot and Tot of Maryland. Note that Midnight has a prominent role on the title page. While Baum and Denslow were no longer friends and went on to other things, Midnight continued to work with Denslow in his Mother Goose. And he even met Little Red Riding Hood and Humpty Dumpty in his travels. Despite being a jokester and wanting to live in happily ever after, Denslow fought alcoholism throughout his life and definitely had a darker side. While he was working for the Chicago Herald, he became a member of the Whitechapel Club. The club was named after the location of the Jack the Ripper murders and was decorated with skulls and other creepy things. Alcohol also featured prominently, which didn't help with Denslow's drinking problems. The club's motto was, "Abandon hope, all ye who enter here," a phrase from Dante's Inferno. Denslow was able to mix beauty with the macabre, however, as seen in these examples of book covers and internal art for Rand McNally and Roycrofter books. I'll end with this quote from the Rubaiyat, which no doubt resonated with Denslow. "Oh, make the most of what we yet may spend, before we too into dust descend, dust unto dust, and under dust to lie, sans wine, sans song, sans singer, and sans end." I hope you enjoy this brief glimpse into Denslow's work, and I'd also like to invite you to use a special Halloween coupon code for $10 off at my book website, wonderfulbooksofoz.com. The code is Maggie2020 in honor of Margaret Hamilton, who was perhaps the witchiest witch. Thank you.